In this video, we will be learning how to convert between moles and number of particles. You will want your periodic tables as well as a calculator. That's why I have my calculator app open. This continues our learning objective of learning how to convert between the amounts of substances between the units of moles, particles, and mass. In the previous video, we learned about moles to mass, and now we're doing moles and particles. So molar mass was our conversion factor to convert between the units of moles and grams. Whenever we're trying to convert between the units of moles and individual counts of objects, we're going to be using Avogadro's number. Avogadro's number, this should be a subscript A, another thing I have to fix later. So that's a subscript A there. So Avogadro's number is used as a conversion factor between whenever you have counts of objects and moles. Now, oftentimes it doesn't actually say the word counts. Instead, it says what it's a count of. And so you'll look for key terms like molecules, formula units, or atoms. And so those are keywords that tell you that it's a count of things. Those are objects. So for example, it says how many moles is 7.03 times 10 to the 21st power formula units of KCl. And so formula units is a count. So this is a count of formula units. And so we have to convert between formula units counts into moles. And so we're given 7.03 times 10 to the 21st power. Formula units is very long, and so I'm going to write count formula unit KCl. And then I am asked to find mole of KCl. And so whenever I'm trying to convert between moles and counts, I have to use a conversion factor of Avogadro's number. So I can look that up on my yellow sheet. If you have the TI-36X Pro, then above the 8 there's a parentheses button, and in a blue font it says constants. And you can access Avogadro's number through that constants. You have to hit the second menu to access it. This calculator app that I'm using doesn't have a similar menu option for that I have found. Just saying, it's available. So let's see, where were we? We were starting with our 7.03 times 10 to the 21st power formula units of KCl, and I have to cancel out formula units of KCl in order to get into moles. And so 1 mole of things is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power things. And so that 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd gets attached to whatever it's a count of. And so now that I got this all set up, I can type this into my calculator. I highly recommend that you have a calculator that has a multi-line fraction button so that you can type things into your calculator and know what you're typing into the numerator and denominator. But we'll type it in a few different ways so that you can match the capabilities of your scientific calculator. So we have 7.03, and then if you have an exponent button, or so if you have EXP or EE button on your calculator, then that is your best friend for scientific notation. That stands for times 10 to the. And so it not only saves you keystrokes, but it keeps whatever's up in front attached to the exponent. And so since that's times 10 to the, I just have to type in what the exponent is. You can see that this calculator is live doing it as I type. And so then I can hit divided by 6.022 to the 23rd power. And so this tells me that I have 0.116738. Oh, I forgot the 0 right here. Mole of KCl. So I can type that in a different way too. I can type that in as, I'll hit clear, 7.03. And then you can manually type in times 10 to some power. This is an x to a box, and so that will get me an exponent 21. And then I need to navigate out of the exponent so that I can continue. Maybe I'll make a multi-line fraction using this button. There's a similar button on the TI-36X Pro above the number 7 button. And so that allows you to type in your values so that they look exactly like what is on your paper. And so again, we get the same value. If instead you got an exponent that is in the order of like times 10 to the 44th power or 45th power, that means that your calculator doesn't know that the times 10 to the 23rd is in the denominator. And so you might need to type in parentheses around the 6.022 to help communicate to your calculator that those are stuck together. So for instance, if you typed in 7.03 times 10 to the 21st power, and then you did times 1 divided by 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power, your calculator wouldn't know that this times 10 to the 23rd is in the denominator, and so you get this big exponent. And so we need to communicate with your calculator that that's in the denominator. And by doing parentheses, we can communicate to our calculators that both of those are in the denominator. And again, we get that same answer. This has 3 sig figs. And so our answer needs 1, 2, 3 sig figs. These leading zeros are not significant. And so our answer would be reported as 0.011, that's 7, so I got to round up, moles of KCl. And so that's 3 sig figs. And answer typed underneath looks good. And so woohoo! All right, here's a practice problem for you. Go ahead and pause the video to work out how many atoms of krypton are in 4.512 moles of krypton. Unpause the video when you are ready to continue. Okay, let's do this. All right, so we are given 4.512 moles of krypton, and I am being asked to find atoms of krypton. Atoms, this would mean a count. I'm being asked to count them. Moles and counts, I'm going to have to use Avogadro's number as my conversion factor. And so moles and counts of things tells you Avogadro's number is what you need. And so we have 4.512 moles of krypton, and I need to cancel out moles of krypton and get into counts of krypton atoms. So 1 mole of krypton atoms would be 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power. And so the 1 is attached to the moles, and then Avogadro's number is attached to the counts. It's like saying if I had 1 dozen, I would have 12 things. Okay, so now we type that into our calculator, and so we have 4.512. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, 4.512 times 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power. And my calculator didn't automatically report that in scientific notation, and so I'm going to have to force my calculator into scientific notation. You might need to change the mode on your calculator so that you can see what it is. So you might have to play with the menus a little bit to see what it is in scientific notation. So that's 2.7171 times 10 to the 24th power atoms of krypton. This has 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs, and so I need 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. And so I would report my answer as 2.717 times 10 to the 24th power atoms of krypton. That says 23rd power. Did I type something in wrong? Maybe I typed something wrong. That definitely says 24th power. I am paranoid. Let's double check that I typed things in right. Oh, that says 24th power. I mistyped. That's a typo. That says 24. Okay. Another thing I have to remember to fix after the video.